Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is February 26th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see BC, Washington, Oregon. Look at that frontal system that went through last night, brought some snowfall across the region here. SeaTac, one of the winners with 2 inches, covered the ground nicely here at my home here. Also, you can see the cold air filtering in behind this system. There is a thunderstorm threat with these popcorn-looking cumulus clouds moving into the region today. Looking out across the Pacific Ocean, you can see our next system in development here. It's going to set up shop off our coastline, and the exact track of this is going to mean big differences between who sees what kind of snowfall potential into the lowlands here as we go through Tuesday morning. We'll take a look at those details. On through early March, we're going to remain chilly here. We'll take a look at the extended forecast for that as well. This is day 1 through 3. You can see mountains, mainly higher impacts. There is some impact potential there for the Willamette Valley, Puget Sound up through southwest BC as well, and even off east of the mountains, also through Idaho and Montana. This is day 1 thunderstorm potential here. This would extend into southwest BC also. Day 2, mainly for the coastline, just clipping the Willamette Valley there, and day 3, something similar. This is looking at SeaTac. We did not get measurable snowfall yesterday. That 2 inches is going to go into the February 26th bucket, so we remain snowless all time on February 25th here for SeaTac. Pretty chilly overnight low, though, the previous morning of 24. This is looking at the HRRR, 3-kilometer lightning flash density potential. You can see that potential for some thunderstorms across the region as you're going through the afternoon and evening today. So heads up, eyes in the sky. You might hear a clap of thunder or see a flash of lightning out there. This is lightning flash density potential in the European. Shows something similar here as we go on into the afternoon and evening time here. And we get a lightning strike or a thunderstorm across the Puget Sound shown there. Now looking at the NAM3KM, this is 80-meter wind speed. If we put this into motion here, you can see the next system here kind of spinning and cartwheeling around here off the coastline. You can see the spin in the atmosphere here, and it's eventually going to move across southwest Washington according to the NAM here. And where this tracks is going to mean all the difference between who gets what kind of snowfall with this system coming up here. There is some model disagreement coming up, though, so we'll look at a little bit of that coming here in a moment. Here we go with the European. You can see that low pressure system moving into the region, and you can see some of these bands setting up across the area. And some of this could bring, 2-3 inches of snowfall, potentially even locally higher amounts, depending on where that low sets up and how fast this is moving. As you can see, bands of snowfall across western Washington down through Oregon into Tuesday morning. We'll be watching this one closely. Still some model disagreement, especially between the GFS and the UW model and the European here coming up. So tomorrow will probably tell us a lot. Let's look at this one now too. 24-hour snow total Kuchera ratio. Put it into motion, and you can see the European kind of targeting some of the Seattle metro places up north of Seattle as well. Kelso, Longview, not bad. A little bit across some of southwest Washington. Some of the Willamette Valley even showing up with some snowfall here also as we go on in through Tuesday shown there. Now let's take a look at this. This is the UW model. We're going to put this into motion. Here's Washington, Oregon. This is hot off the presses this morning's run. If we put that into motion, you can see it tracks this a little bit further south. So it spreads up some snow towards Olympia, even towards Tacoma, but doesn't really get the Seattle metro too well here as we go on in through. This is now looking into Tuesday morning. Just kind of stays south of Seattle metro, and you really get southwest Washington pretty well. Could include some of Portland also, but you can see some big snowfalls coming across the Cascades as per usual here, and might even bring some moisture to places like eastern Washington here, depending on how this low pressure system tracks. Now this is looking at that low pressure system. You can see it keeps it a little bit further south than what the NAM and the European were showing. The NAM and the European have it a little bit further north into southwest Washington, would extend those bands of significant snowfall a little bit further north. This one keeps it a bit further south, as you can see. So we'll see who buckles here as we go on in through the day today towards tomorrow morning, and try to make a forecast off that. This is looking at the European versus the Canadian here. So this is last night's system moving through. There goes the next low pressure system there. Canadian in pretty good agreement. As you can see, agrees with the European here and kind of bumps this low up towards southwest Washington, which would include some of the Puget Sound and Seattle metro a little bit better with some snowfall here as you go on in through Tuesday morning. Now let's take a look here. We got the NAM3KM versus the Canadian high resolution on the right. Here comes the next system. Not bad agreement there. The NAM a little bit stronger with that low pressure system there towards southwest Washington, but the similar low pressure track is shown there. So that GFS UW model is a little bit of an outlier on its own there. So we'll see if it comes in line with the other models here as we go on in through tomorrow morning. This is the NAM3KM total snow totals in Kuchera ratio. Now we're going to speed ahead on through Monday, and you can see that snow start to move in here Monday night into Tuesday morning. Kind of gets the Seattle Metro here. Areas up north could include Whidbey Island with this one as well. I know some areas got skunked out there with this last round. But yeah, you can see some of this amounts coming across Southwest Washington. Again, look at some of the coastline here actually showing up with some good amounts too. So we have to watch this system closely. Again, you can kind of see the hit and miss nature going on here. Some of the Willamette Valley missing out, maybe some of the southern Puget Sound missing out as well. Maybe the Seattle Metro getting in the action as well. But we'll watch this, and we'll come with a little more detail tomorrow on this system and its snowfall totals. So now we're taking a look at the Canadian high resolution model here. And if we put this into motion, you can kind of see the same thing as the NAM is showing, kind of a hit and miss scenario going on here. So we'll just kind of take this with a grain of salt right now. We'll get some better detail by tomorrow morning, but you can see SeaTac 2 inches there, but kind of the hit and miss nature up the Puget Sound and the Willamette Valley there. And of course, if you get in the higher terrain, your chances are going to improve for accumulating snowfall. This is looking at the European ensembles, and you can see by the time we get on in towards, it looks like Sunday morning was included in here as well. So this would be about 2.5 inches for Seattle going on in through Tuesday morning shown there. So take this with a grain of salt right now. This does include some of what fell overnight here. This is yesterday afternoon's run. The 06Z for whatever reason is not updated yet. Same thing with Portland here. So heads up for that. We're taking these totals with a grain of salt right now, but the couple inches is possible for Seattle or Portland right now looking into things. Same thing up towards Arlington with additional rounds possible as we go on in through the extended as well as we look to remain chilly. As you can see here, these additional bumps as you go out in towards early March. This is Bellingham, and again, you can see potential for more snow as we go on into the extended forecast as well. And the possibility exists for a couple, 2, 3, 4 inches of snowfall, again, depending on the track of the low as we go through the day Tuesday. Same thing for Bremerton there. You can see some impressive totals showing up here in the ensemble and the control run. And again, this is yesterday's run, so this includes some of what fell last night also here. But you can see additional chances as we go. Chehalis, similar thing here too as well. Olympia, also same thing there. Spokane, off into eastern Washington here also. You can see we're going to remain chilly and continue those snow chances as we go on in through early March. Now this is looking at 18,000 feet, 500 millibars here, approximately 18,000 feet, I should say. There goes our next system here as we go on in through the day tomorrow, and the track of that's going to mean everything based on who gets what kind of lowland snowfall. As we said, ridge kind of builds, and we bring another system down out of the northwest as we go on in through later this week, and then we bring another polar lobe down off our coastline here as we go towards next weekend. This is this morning's 12Z European run. Seattle Tacoma, you can see as we look out into the future here, pretty chilly here as we go on in through early March. Here's some chilly overnight lows and some flirtations with snowfall cannot be ruled out here on in through early March. And this is looking at the national blended models. Similar thing here also for SeaTac there. And this is looking at the GFS. Pretty good agreement with the national blended models and the European, as you saw. This is Spokane. Pretty chilly overnight lows here all the way on in through early March as well. Highs just mainly up into the 30s, probably towards 40 on some of these days as well, with the flirtation of snowfall on in through the extended. Brookings, Oregon, want to show you some of the coastline there. They're not going to escape the chilly weather all the way down there, as some of these storm systems are going to be diving down all the way into California, which will include, of course, the Oregon coastline. This is looking at the Pacific North American Oscillation, keeping the low pressure system closer to Pacific Northwest here with the ridging out over the Pacific, keeping us in that cool northwesterly or northerly flow over the region here. And not much of a change here as we go on in through early March here. La Nina is in charge out there. This is looking at the considerable avalanche danger across the backcountry here. Go to this website if you need to. This is avalanche.org. Very good information. If you click on any one of these individual areas, you can get all kinds of good stuff like snow levels. You can get snow type, avalanche problems, what to look for. You can see what to look for below the tree line, near it, or above it. Just great information here. And it talks about the bottom line. It gives you a forecast discussion and everything. Really a good tool for people traveling out in the backcountry. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook here. Let's see if this is updated actually. That was issued yesterday. Nope, we're still on that one, but you can see the bullseyes here on the west coast of North America all the way through March 7th there. This is 8 to 14 day all the way through March 11th there, and this was issued yesterday again, but you can see the huge bullseye in the western portion of the USA. Now, take a look. This was issued actually on the 24th here, and this goes all the way out through all the way into later March, actually. And you can see much of the lower 48 are going to be below average, or at least the percentages. The probability is that much of the area will be below average. Precipitation chances on in through the later March. You can see Pacific Northwest with a bullseye on it here as we go. This is looking at the CoCoRaHS, and you can see some of this measurable snowfall yesterday. The darker blue is between 1.5 inches and 2.9 inches, and you can see some of the bigger amounts, especially away from the water, up towards Whatcom County here, and you can see out towards Kitsap Peninsula and the Olympic Mountains, some bigger amounts as well out there. And down towards Portland, you can see they did get some trace amounts. And if you got off to the east a little bit, you got 0.2 1.5 higher terrain did a little bit better there as well. You can see some Olympia got around 1 inch. But as you got a little bit further south and west, you got some better totals there. And anywhere away from I-5, any kind of elevation at all, you got better amounts. SeaTac checking in with 2 inches, probably close to 2 inches of my house here off to the west of SeaTac as well. So nice little snowfall yesterday, nothing too major, but look at up towards Vancouver, BC, especially away from the water. Some big snowfall totals up over 8 inches showing up there. I know that eastern Vancouver Island was getting some nice snowfall as well out there also, but we are not done here. This system looks pretty interesting coming in Monday night on in through Tuesday morning as well. So we'll continue to watch that one really closely as we go, and I'll watch the models very closely today as well. And there it is. Speaking of that system, now that we've bounced back out to the infrared satellite imagery here, and this is going to continue to pump cold air into the Pacific Northwest. But if you want something to watch today, go out there and try to catch one of those thunderstorms. You might see a flash of lightning out here, especially as we go into the afternoon hours in towards this evening. Maybe get some small hail or some snow pellets involved with some of these showers here moving across the area. And the snow should continue to be building up across some of the Cascades as well. I know we got in a little bit of a deficit going through the month of January here, and we were in kind of a precipitation deficit again in February here as well. So hopefully we can continue to add on to that. And I know Washington isn't in drought right now, but Oregon, some of the east slopes of the Cascades especially, are still in some pretty extreme drought conditions out there. So hopefully we can alleviate some of that. But anyway, there's a chance I may do another video tonight. If the models trend stronger with this system, I may do another one to update everybody and get some of these get the better information out to the general public, or at least my viewers here. And if not, I'll do my briefing tomorrow morning as per usual. And yeah, so I hope you guys are having a good day. Get some pictures, send them to me on Twitter or DM me, and maybe I'll use them on the show tomorrow. Send me your snow totals as well if you have any. And yeah, we'll do this again either tonight or tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys then.